What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk about something that the Jets get criticized for a ton and how something they were really killed for a couple years ago isn't really hurting them as bad as some people thought, and we'll get into it. It has to do with the New York Jets draft blunder that isn't looking like a blunder so much anymore. Reminder for the Talkin' Jets group outing, Jets Broncos tickets remain on sale. Limited quantity remaining. Just a few more weeks before you are able to get yours. Hang out with us at Tailgate Joe's Tailgate. We go to the game together. We get on the field after the game, take a group picture. Really excited for it. Make sure to pick up your tickets at talkinjets.com while supplies last. So last year in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New York Jets traded back with the Green Bay Packers because of the Aaron Rodgers trade. They moved back a couple of spots, and then what ended up happening, the pick before the New York Jets were selected, which was right after the Green Bay Packers picked with where the Jets were. The Patriots trade out, Steelers move up. They take Bradrick Jones, one pick before the New York Jets are on the clock. The Jets then take Will McDonald. Now, after watching One Jets Drive and just all their coverage of how things happened last year in the draft, they had Bradrick Jones third on their board. They had Michael Mayer second on their board. And on number one on their board was Will McDonald, who they ended up taking 15th overall. Now, they were absolutely crushed for missing out on one of the offensive linemen in the draft. One of those guys being Bradrick Jones. And it was, oh, well, see, Bill got you one more time before he goes. You didn't have to trade back with the Green Bay Packers, and just so many things that just crushed Joe Douglas and the Jets over and over and over again. Now, I'll be honest with you. My preference was for the Jets to take an offensive lineman. I thought the Will McDonald pick was a bizarre pick, but once the Jets made the selection, my mind was made that I think it's not fair to Will McDonald to hold this against him. You have to give him the benefit of the doubt and at least see over a realistic sample size what kind of player he ends up being. Well, reports out of the Steelers training camp in preseason, Bradrick Jones has been horrible so far in his second season in the league against he plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their matchup against the Buffalo Bills. He played just 20 pass blocking snaps and he allowed 3 pressures and 2 sacks, was getting absolutely manhandled by Gregory Rousseau. So either Rousseau is on track to be a Hall of Famer or Bradrick Jones is just struggling a little bit. So far in 2 preseason games, 4 pressures, 2 sacks allowed on 72 snaps. Not the greatest of looks so far for Bradrick Jones entering his second season. Is he able to bounce it back? It's possible. I thought he looked okay as a rookie, but comparatively, again, the Jets got killed for taking Will McDonald. And there's been a lot of discussion around Will McDonald this offseason, but I think he's actually looked okay in the preseason. So he had a sack showing off his pass rush spin against the Carolina Panthers. He also had a roughing the passer call the week prior, but moral of the story, back-to-back weeks and limited snaps, he is getting to the quarterback, and he did that in the preseason last year. And honestly, he did it in the regular season in a very small sample. He's someone who I don't think is ready, and I've made this clear, I don't think he's ready to play 60% of snaps and play a majority of the snaps, but in a more advantageous role for him, putting him on the field in obvious passing situations in the second half of games, I do think he's someone who could have success in this defense as a situational pass rusher. And that does give the Jets value. And once again, reiterating this, didn't like the direction that the Jets went at the time during the NFL draft, but you have to let these things play out a little bit. Give it 2 years. I'm not saying you got to wait and still be in year 6 like crosstown rivals, the New York Giants, who are still holding out hope that Daniel Jones is going to be their guy. I think a 2-year look is fair. That was my thought on Zach Wilson a couple of years ago, is I wanted to see 2 years of Zach Wilson before he made the decision. In 2022, it became pretty clear that Zach wasn't going to be the guy. The Jets agreed with that take as they would go out and then trade for Aaron Rodgers. And unfortunately, we know how the rest of this would go. But it's just really frustrating to me that so many people are so quick to judge on these prospects. And again, I think asking for 2 years or like 20 to 25 games even isn't really asking a whole lot. Like there was a group, I'm sure you remember, that absolutely crushed Joe Tippmann last July because he started third on the depth chart and now he's worked his way up to a starter in year 2. And a similar group, calling him a bust and this and that. Now a similar group is killing Olu Fashanu because he had a false start penalty. And these same guys are upset because the Jets didn't take the guy that they wanted in the draft. And now, Olu sucks because he has a couple false start penalties in a preseason game. Meanwhile, he's looked like a stellar pass protector so far through training camp in the preseason at multiple positions at left tackle and right tackle. It's just, can we let this play out a little bit? That's the message that I want to get across in the video. Maybe don't be so stubborn on, I wanted the Jets to do this and they didn't, and now I'm going to be mad about it and hate the guy. Can we just at least let things play out for a year or two and then reassess and reevaluate? If the same thing, like if you didn't want the Jets to draft player X and then 3 years from now, player X is still not very good, that is a legitimate gripe that I think you can have. Bashing on Olu Fashanu because you wanted a wide receiver or Brock Bowers is just so stupid. It's so beyond frustrating and dumb. Let it play out for a moment before we make any rash, overwhelming takes or decisions on the future of these guys, if they're going to be good players in this league or not. Let's try not to be so miserable. Guys, that's going to do it for me in this video. I'll be back later this afternoon recapping training camp practice. So don't go anywhere. I'm Matt. I'll catch you next time.